Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the next Foreman community demo. Your host, Ken Gilvin here, as always, freshly back from conference season, just about recovered. I've been hibernating for about a week. It's exhausting, but a lot of fun, and we'll tell you more about that as we go. Let me tell you a little bit about the show today. So as usual, you can get involved. We're on IRC, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube Live. I will be keeping an eye on, hopefully keeping an eye on all of those channels to monitor for your questions. So please, if you have anything you want to comment on, or if you've got questions you want to ask of the presenters, please do get involved. Also, if you were at the conferences recently and you just want to share your feedback on how you found that, please do, and I'll be happy to relay your thoughts to everyone else. So today, as I mentioned, we've got a little bit of a roundup on conferences. And we also have, I'll just quickly mention some upcoming events as well. So that's going to be interesting, but quick. We're going to look at some parameter stuff. We're going to look at some logging. We're going to look at new stuff in Catello area. We're going to look at some Ansible. We're going to look at some new plugins that are coming our way. Lots of stuff. So we're going to crack straight on with it. Now, I did want to mention one thing. The community survey is still open. I checked this morning. We had 171 responses already, which is absolutely fantastic. That's 2.5 times what we got last year. I'd really like to see it get to 200 before we close it. I'm going to close it probably a week tomorrow, at the end of next week. So if you haven't filled in the community survey yet, or if you have but you know someone who hasn't, go fill it in. Give us your feedback. We need to hear it. And I would love to see that get to over 200 responses. That would be amazing. So there's the link. There's also a barcode if you prefer that. So I got some feedback while I was on conference. And that feedback was that I should do the metrics at the end of the demo. This is a very sensible piece of feedback because, frankly, I'm probably the only person who cares. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And therefore, without further ado, I'm going to hand off to our first presenter. So, Ori, if you're ready, I'll transfer it to you.
Yeah. I'll share my screen. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, we can. That's fine.
Okay, so the API used to show hidden parameters with their actual value. That meant that when you were looking at a hidden parameter through Hammer or through the API, you couldn't actually tell if it was hidden or not without the flag of seeing if it's hidden. You don't see the flag here, but in host you'll be able to see the flag. And then you'd have to actually know if the parameter was hidden or not and decide if to show the value or not. I'll show it further in host. Oh, wait, let me start with, okay, with common parameters. So here you can actually see the hidden value. So you'd have to choose between showing the value and the hidden value according to this flag, the hidden value, if it was true or false. Now what we did was to change the value. The value now is actually hidden if it's hidden. That means if you change it through the API or Hammer, then you can see that your change did affect the parameter. If you do want to see it through the API, there's a new flag. If you can see up here, if I'll change show hidden to true, then now I can see it. So you can always use that flag if you do need to see the actual value of the parameter, but otherwise the value will now actually show the value or the hidden value exactly like in the UI. You can see the same with host. So this is a specific parameter, but if I go to the host itself, to its parameters, down here, this is the param. Here it's hidden, and here you couldn't even see, there's no hidden flag here, so you couldn't even see if this was actually hidden or not in the host UI without actually going to the UI or checking out the specific parameter. Same thing here. I have, this time, because I'm from the host, I'll have show hidden parameters. Set to true. If I go back down, then now I can see the actual value. I'm going to stop sharing for a second to share my terminal so you can see it in Hammer. Okay, so this is the same host. If I look at it, then my param is stars because it's hidden. If I add show show you in the options. If I do -H, then I can see it. The option I'll have show hidden parameters. So if I just add that, and true, then now I see the value.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Rory. I don't just see any questions for you right now, so hang around and I'll keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, we're going to move on. Next up, we have Andre, who's got a couple of updates for us, and we're going to start with some OpenSCAP. Now, you did a great presentation on SCAP in the last couple of weeks, so what's new? What are we adding?
Basically, today I'll be showing a new feature that allows you to add tailoring files and use them. And basically, this means that you can change what is checked during scan. So I hope you can see my screen. Right now, you should see a new page with tailoring files, and you can get there through the menu. Down here is a new tailoring file. You can upload your own tailoring file, and if you uploaded a SCAP content, this will look familiar. So let's give it a name, and let's choose the actual file. Right, and hit submit. And we've uploaded a new tailoring file. If you don't know where to get one, you can create your own, and you can do that by using SCAP Workbench, which is a tool that you can install, and that's something that OpenSCAP provides you. Let's say I want Firefox, and I'll hit customize, give it a name, give it a new profile name. And right now I'm in the customize mode, and it's really intuitive. You can check and uncheck the rules that you wish to preserve or remove, and then save your changes, and you will have your tailoring file. So let's go back to Foreman. Now I'm going to actually assign the tailoring file to my policy. So I will edit the policy. Right. In the SCAP content tab, there's again new field, and we can actually select our tailoring file here. I'll choose the one that I've uploaded, and I'll choose the tailoring profile that comes from the file, and hit submit. And if you notice, also the fields in the table, there are a couple of new ones. You can see our tailoring file, and you can see effective profile. That is actually what gets used during the scan. So let's go to our client and run Puppet to actually apply the changes from the policy. This should take only a few seconds, or maybe longer. As you can see, there are some changes. We get a new path where to get the tailoring file from, and all we have to do now is actually run the client. As you can see, it downloaded the new tailoring file and run the scan and send it to Foreman. So let's check our reports in Foreman. These are reports that I ran earlier, that I received earlier today, and let's see if we have a new one. Maybe we don't. Seems like we have, but the time is kind of off. It's not 3 hours ago. It should be just a minute ago, but doesn't matter. As you can see, there are two rules that were not checked when this report was generated, and that's because I have assigned the policy to tailoring file that said that I don't want to check these rules. And that's basically all I have. Are there any questions?
Superb, thanks, Andrea. I don't see any questions right now, although there is quite a discussion of the YouTube stream itself going on in IRC, but no actual questions for you just now. I have just been reminded, though, by that discussion that if you are watching this on the YouTube stream, set the bandwidth settings to 720p to make quite a difference with the demos. For some reason, the YouTube default seems to be 240p, which is why people really struggle to see things, but you can change it, so do that. Okay, well, so that's OpenSCAP, and I don't see much else going on. So let's move on to your second piece. So let's talk about Hammer.
Okay, so I implemented the Hammer commands for config groups that were previously missing. This is actually pretty basic stuff. So now you can manipulate your config groups with Hammer. You have create, delete, info list, update commands available. And when you have your config groups created, you can assign them to host and host group, because there are new flags that allow you to do it. So if I try to grab for the flags available, you can see that I have I can use IDs or names to actually assign the config group to my host, and for host group, it should be pretty much the same, or maybe not. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it.
Super, nice and simple. Daniel would like to know if there's any docs for the tailoring file.
Docs, well, there are merged. There was an update in docs merged to the Foreman org, so it should be on our website.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So moving on, we're going to switch to Walden, who's not been on the demo for quite a long time, I think. But it's good to have you back, and you're going to tell us about changes in the Catello UI, I think.
Yes, that's right. So first, I just wanted to show the older UI here, and you can see we've got this two-pane thing. If you were to go down into something a little more, you can see that here most of your work's being done in this bottom part of this screen here. And if you had a long list of errata, in this case, you would be scrolling down on this little tiny table down here. So we wanted to get closer to some of the recommendations that Patternfly has put forth. So we wanted to get rid of this two-pane and go to a full page view. And also, because of this is already limited horizontally this way, there are plans in Foreman to add vertical navigation that will look something like this. So you can use your imagination and see how confined it's going to be once we switch to vertical navigation if we still had this huge unused section over here. So I've been working over the past 3-4 iterations on converting all of Catello over to what we've been calling non-new two-pane, getting rid of the existing new two-pane implementation. So now when you click on a content view here, you'll see that it takes up the entire screen. We've got these breadcrumbs that you can use to get back to where you were prior. In the future, there are plans to add a quick switching ability here where you could switch to another content view easily. You click this and it'll drop down and it'll show you content views. You could search and switch or whatever. But you'll see showing you that same page there just displayed before. You'll see now you've got the whole page here and you could easily scroll down. And I guess I'll just compare just a couple of other pages. And here you see, again, there's not anything much on this this sandbox I created yesterday, but you can see how this is all kind of odd looking, at least to me. And then this is using the same table view with nav bar pattern that you can see here. Basically the same. In the future, I'm going to get rid of our infamous scroll and start using pagination as they're using here. But that's pretty much it. I guess I'll just open it up to questions. Oh, I did want to mention, I plan on doing a deep dive on all of this to solicit further comments. I'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks. So just keep an eye out for an invite. And yeah, that's it, unless there's any questions.
So I don't see any questions at the moment, apart from on the vertical nav, which I guess is a separate thing anyway. So I will quickly comment on that. There is if you're interested in the vertical nav discussion that was posted to the Foreman dev list a little while ago. You can Google for that, or come see me. I'll find you a link, and you can go and have a look at the proposals and see what you think and leave your comments. I'm sure they will be welcome. As for the Catello changes, one from Stephen. Are there plans to make the actual pages themselves look more similar? So obviously Catello is full width, whereas Foreman is not. So Walden, still there?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot I muted myself. I didn't catch all that question. There was some audio coming from elsewhere in the.
Okay, so the question, I'll just repeat, was even with dropping two pane, there's still some cases where we have full width versus not full width in the UI, right? So is there a plan to address that as well?
As in Catello using almost entirely full width and Foreman pages aren't. Is that the question?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. That's something that we need to discuss and figure out which direction we want to go. I mean, it would be an easy change if we decided to not go full width on Catello's side. I don't know how easy of a change it would be on Foreman if we decide to go full width on Foreman, but that's something that we'll need to have a discussion about to start moving towards consistency in UI.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. And you heard it here, guys. Discussion welcome. Your thoughts welcome. I'm pretty sure I've seen discussion on whether or not Foreman should go full width at least once in recent past. So jump in on that if you have thoughts. All right. So thanks, Holden. And let's move on. So I'll just double check. Oh, hang on. We got one more from Daniel as well about reusing navbar. But I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Daniel. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, the navigation bar that I saw on top of the table. I was wondering if it's how is it implemented? If there's any way we can reuse that and for.
You're muted again, Walden.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get the screen back. The navigation bar, are you speaking about the top of the
Yes.
table here?
Yeah, that one.
I mean, it's all written in Angular. So unless Foreman has plans on using Angular, then no, it's not going to really be reusable. However, Patternfly has most of the styles for it. Well, all the styles for it are from this example here. So I mean, it would just be adding the correct classes as appropriate. It's very similar to what Bootstrap has for navbars. There's just a couple of other changes. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward if y'all wanted to move to using this style.
All right, cool. So I think we've exhausted that topic. So let's move on. So next up is going to be Tomasz, who's going to tell us some Ansible stuff for forklift.
Yes, hello. Those of you who were on the recent conferences probably noticed that we have very nice brand new demo boxes, and I had the chance to play with them and set up the demo that you saw there. So everything on those two machines were actually configured via forklift and via new Ansible roles that I either refactored from the existing ones or created new ones just for the demo. This work is still in phase of pull requests, but I felt that it's important to share this information. So I would like to guide you through the changes that are planning to be merged. So a couple of things that I created are new roles for installing plugins and also roles for saving some demonstration data like fake hosts, users, and Puppet modules. And the whole idea behind this is that you will be able to write your own playbooks and define a highly composable setup of Foreman or Catello and plugins and some data. So as a part of that, I also refactored existing playbooks for Foreman and Catello, and they were actually replaced by roles. So that will enable you to easily use it in your own playbooks. And also one big change is that the role Catello provisioning was actually split into two. It's Foreman provisioning and Catello provisioning that depends on it. So in short, some basic usage. This is snippets from Ansible playbooks. So this is basic Foreman installation. Nothing much changed there. It's just role Foreman and some options. Everything is the same as if it was playbook. So it should be 100% backwards compatible. There's even still playbook for Foreman that calls this role inside. Very similar for Catello, and when it starts to be interesting, it's here when we start adding plugins on top of that. So there's a role for delivery setup. It's been there already. We probably know it if you have played with forklift. Catello provisioning can set up additional stuff on top of it to actually prepare some content in Catello and synchronize it. What I added during this rework is that Foreman provisioning part will also set up fully functional provisioning on the delivery for you. Then there are plugins or roles for several plugins. We've got Docker Discovery, Ansible, OpenSCAP, remote execution, and templates. Some of them are very basic and just install the plugin itself. Some of them also contain some seeding. So you can see that, for example, Ansible one enables you to preseed some Ansible roles. Also, one new thing is that I added tags for all the tasks. So now you can run just part of the setup, and you can, for example, just install the plugins and skip the seeding. The used tags at the moment are packages for delivering the content, then installation for installing of the plugin itself, environment setup, and seed. And why I'm actually mentioning it all is that I think it's a very nice way for plugin authors to provide easy way to set up Foreman with your plugin and enable users to play with it with some data preceded. So if you're a plugin author it'd be great if you can check the work that's been done there, review it a bit, and maybe write your own role for plugins. So that's about it from my side.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tomasz. I don't see any questions for you just now, but I will take this opportunity to say thanks very much for your work on the demo at the conferences. It was fantastic. So thank you very much for that. So with no questions, I guess it's time to move on. So sticking with the Ansible theme, it's time to go over to Daniel for the latest release of Foreman Ansible.
Okay, hello. Okay, Greg, can you put my screen on?
Yep.
Share. You should be seeing right now console. This is the etc ansible.config file. I'm going to describe a change that we've made in the latest version 4.4, so you are able to import your roles from the roles path defined in your etc Ansible config. Normally on Ansible, your roles are defined in etc Ansible roles. That is the default. And in Foreman, when you imported the roles, they always both proxy and Foreman just looked in that directory. The latest version of Foreman Ansible now looks in this file, etc Ansible and Ansible config for this key roles path, which is a path to your Ansible roles. If it's commented like here, or if it's commented, or if it doesn't exist, what will happen is that use the default. As you can see here, I have some roles in my etc Ansible roles directory, and I have a fake directory with no roles. Now let me share my Foreman so you can see how this actually looks like. Okay. All right. Are you seeing Foreman now?
No, we're seeing the Hangout at the moment.
Okay. Just a second. All right. Okay. I think now it should work.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. So
Okay.
I can just come.
That's good.
Good size. Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
So as you saw, the Ansible roles, the roles path setting was set to the default, which is Ansible roles. And here in that directory, I have all of these. So I can just click on import my Ansible roles from there. No changes. Now let's say that I'm actually changing it now to the other roles directory. I click on import from that host, and Foreman will auto detect that all of the roles were removed. I just pointed my roles path to an empty directory. That is one of the changes that we have for 1.4.4. Another small change is that now the verbosity level, you are not able to set any level that might break your Ansible installation. On 1.4.2, unfortunately, the default was broken and you have to change it. Now, I think it's a little nicer. You can see an entire list of changes by going to the Foreman Ansible repository. And one last thing, if you were waiting for dep, they have been merged today. So hopefully our Debian users can start using Foreman Ansible 1.4.4 from today on. That's all I have.
Fantastic. Thanks, Daniel. So I'll just double check, but I don't think we have any questions for you just now. So that's fine, and do go play with that. The Ansible plugin just seems to keep getting better and better. So good work there, guys. So moving on, Ivan, you have a new plugin to show us, I believe, or a new thing to do with maintenance, anyway.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I was doing some community demo. So let's see how it works today. And yeah, I'm running now 3 different versions of VMs with different versions of Foreman and Catello. So maybe we just will experience my the computer hangout, not me doing that. So what I wanted to show today was the tool that we are working on to enhance the maintenance of, or the experience with maintaining the running instance of Foreman or Catello or Satellite, whatever version you have. And like, since we are pretty friendly on IRC channel to support the users, we are not very friendly with providing tools that would allow like diagnostics and like making the life easier for the users. So this is where we started with, and like the goal for to start looking into this is actually providing better experience for the upgrades that we are facing, especially when you have Catello around. There are multiple things you can run into. And one reason we are running into issues with upgrades is like having the system in not a healthy state, and we are not able to tell the users before. So where this is where the tool started. It's like right now written as a CLI tool, but it's focused on like defining the things that you can do in the infrastructure. And giving some metadata for it. And one thing that we aim from the beginning is being able to use the same version of the tool against different versions of Foreman or Catello, and against different, like detect what features actually are. This might be some plugin, or the capsules or the Foreman proxies present on the system and so on. So the first thing that this tool aims to do is actually detect what's running on the system. So I will first show like how it looks like on different versions. So I have here Foreman 1.14. When I run this, I have here some like a printout of what was detected. So I know that there is the Foreman database presented. There is Foreman in some version, and this has installed upstream. So this is like right now the detection, or the things that I've detected on the system, and I can use it for other operations that will follow. When I run it on the downstream installation, so with the satellite, I now see that I have, instead of upstream, I have downstream presented, and here I have also Foreman tasks presented. So you can see that there are like additional things run. I will talk about it while ago, in a minute. And just to complete the round, this is the previous version of Satellite. So while Satellite Season 2 has Foreman 1.11, here is Foreman 1.7. So this is like the first thing in step to provide the ability to use the same tool for different versions and not care that much is to the feature detection that we have there. I will now jump a bit into the code. So for the features, like they are just classes where based on some definitions. So for example, the Foreman tasks are detected as presence of some packages that we have installed. The same for Foreman. And one thing or important thing is that you can like add additional functionality, or if some functionality change between the versions, you can override. So the Foreman 1.11, 7, and I will talk like why it's useful to do it this way in a minute. So this is about the features, and then like this on its own doesn't do much, but the next step we can do with this is actually define different checks for different features present on the system. So I have here an example for checking for post tasks, which usually is not a good thing, or the thing that you should be aware of and try to figure out what's going on. So I have here a check defined for feature foreman tasks, and I can put some text for it. So this is like a basic check that you should run whenever you have a chance to. I will talk about like why it's important, and then the check itself, which is some assertion saying what's going on if it fails, and we can also suggest what to do when something goes wrong. So this is about checks. So I have some basic one, I have some pre-upgrade check as well, and I have also packages check. I'm just simulating here that it's doing something. It's not that important for this particular demo. So, and then I have scenarios, which is actually like putting some steps together to perform some like scenario on your system. So here it's upgrading either to Foreman 114 or Centralized 6.2. Procedures are some operations that you could do on the system. So resuming the task might be one of them. So the important thing here is that which checks and scenarios are available for the system is determined by the features that are present at the system at the moment. And we can also provide different checks for different versions. So when I go back to my example VMs, when I run it here again, I'm running the pre-upgrade check for 6.2, or the simulation of it. And right now it seems that everything went fine. So the packages are installed from the distribution, no post tasks are present, and no running tasks are present at the moment, which is also quite good to have before you start upgrading. And now I'm going to simulate one thing, and it's in the Foreman task feature, we have the method for checking the number of post tasks, again, just simulation, and I will return 5 post tasks instead of like pretending everything is okay. When I run it again, the second task for post task, or the second check, should fail. So we see, hey, something goes wrong. And as I have the definition in the check that when something goes wrong, some suggestions. So my suggestion defined here is to use procedure Foreman task resume. So I was just asked to like what I can do about that, and I can confirm that yeah, I want to resume the tasks, and we try to like be more helpful in what's going on as well, and after that continuing with other tasks. So after this finishes, you can see what happened. So some check for sanity, check for post tasks, then it resumed the post task, and check for running task again. So the content of the check itself is this was more a simulation, but I want to like just show what's possible to do with the structure and give you some insights on what it could do in the future. And I will publish the code hopefully today or tomorrow in the README. I just want to like we call it Foreman maintain for now, and like these are some examples of what I would like to use it for future for. Ideally, if this could become kind of entry point for maintaining or the maintenance operations of your infrastructure or Foreman infrastructure. Why I took it this far was going through the RFC that we have present, where it also aims for unifying the maintenance or administration scripts across Foreman and Catello, and I think this was a nice opportunity to give it a try, because I think there is a lot of common things that both these things need. So that's really shortly into what's going on right now, and I'm looking for the feedback as well as after I publish the code. I'm sorry that I couldn't do it sooner, but I wanted to have some POC first. So leaving now for space for questions.
Cool. There was one. We'll keep it quick because we're running up against the time limits. But just very quickly, there's already quite a lot of tools out there. Catello pre-upgrade checks, Satellite has some health checks, and so on. Is this planning to kind of integrate everything together and be like the one tool to do all of this?
Yeah, that's the thing, that we have like it's not true that we don't have any tools, but just to figure out which tool to use is pretty hard, and this could act as the entry point. So it doesn't mean that we need to replace everything that is out there, but even to give you some entry points. So if there is a procedure defined some other tool, so just instructions how to install it, or being able to auto install it and then run it and provide the feedback would be one way to go. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that another initiative regarding the running the infrastructure is the status page on the Foreman side, that we need to fill some information in about if something is running or not running. And this was designed in a way that we should be able to plug the output that you run on the infrastructure and report that to the Foreman to actually show also visual indication of everything is okay or something is failing.
Cool. And second question for you from Lukash. He was just wondering if you think whether you considered using the Hammer framework for your CLI.
Yeah, I look at that. I look at the Hammer CLI admin, but the CLI is a very small portion of the tool itself, and the problem that I see with the Hammer part is that since there are already a lot of plugins there that also require some time for loading and so on, just running the Hammer commands with default installation of Foreman and Catello takes like 2 seconds just to start, and we don't need almost anything from that framework itself. So we are looking more into using the clamp if needed for the CLI itself. Another reason why not to go with the Hammer is that we want to, for this tool, to have as low dependencies as possible, because we want to be able to run it against different versions of the Foreman. So every new dependency on something that is shipped by Foreman creates complications when something changes. So for now, I haven't seen the justification for this dependency.
Makes sense. All right. Thanks very much. So, moving on, Martin, we've got some talk about logs. What have you got for us?
Okay, hello. I'm going to show what I was working past few days. So recently I was debugging issues on remote servers that I don't have access to, and the only source of information was SOS reports and Foreman debugs. It was quite difficult to get oriented in this amount of information, and also it was difficult to sort time-wise the messages from all the logs and put them together to find out what's going wrong with the server. So I was thinking if there is some solution for this that could make my life easier, and I thought that it would help to have the logs on one place where the logs would be aligned by the time, and it would be great if the logs contain structured data that I can search by and make some queries to this. So I give it a try, and now I want to share with you how it went. So first of all, I was looking if there are some tools that would match my requirements somewhere in the internet, and I found out that there are some centralized logging server solutions that do basically what I need. So I needed to find some other PCs which would help me to parse the SOS reports logs and feed with them the centralized logging servers. So I found that there is a Grok library, which is a tool for creating some patterns made of regular expressions, and you could put various patterns together and make more complex regular expressions. And there is also a lot of existing libraries made for parsing various logs, such as Postgres and Apache and stuff like that. So I use this, and I also found out that there is a GELF, which is a standard format for sending logs to the logging servers, and this format is supported by many tools such as Graylog or Journal-D and others. So I put the Grok and GELF together to make a parser and importer tool, and connected it with Graylog logging server that I will demo in a minute. So what I have now, this is of course not full solution. This is just proof of concept that I want to show you, and I'm looking for basically for help in developing that, because there is more work needed. And yeah, so what I have is some CLI framework that I can run the importers from, and I have basic importer for YAML, which I started with because it's a simple and clear log, so I make some patterns for that. And also I try to create importer for syslog, which is much bigger challenge, because many tools are logging into that log and they use different format, and there are multi-line logs and stuff like that. So the logs are mixed together and it's not easy to use that. So I try to parse it piece by piece. So I choose pulp logs for first. So I'm picking up pulp logs and try to parse them. And then what's left, I will leave for another parser that will go on. And last in the line is some parser for general syslog messages that logs the rest of the stuff. Okay, so and also I have importer for SOS report, which just calls the other importers for the specific log files. For showing the logs as the centralized server solutions, I choose Graylog because it was easy to install. They provide images for virtual machines with Graylog pre-installed. They provide Ansible playbooks and Puppet manifests and Chef cookbooks for installing the Graylog. So this was just most easy to start with for me, and I've installed it and will demo on this server. But you can use with the parser any other tool that support the GELF input. There are more tools on the internet using this format. Even the Journal-D can be used. So I'll go to the demo. Yeah, the tool is called Grok and GELF, which is quite obvious because it's names of the two libraries. And with the help, you can see that we have 3 importers for now. It's importer for YAML, for syslog, and SOS report, which takes the tarball and picks the files and calls the importers on them. If we look at the details for the specific log importer, you can see that there are some parameters. Here the target is the server with the Graylog, or with the server that collects the logs. The port is port where the GELF input is expected. Host is just some name that will be in every log input from this import. This is important if you have one Greylog server and you are doing multiple imports. So you can distinguish the individual imports by the host and import ID. For example, you can import logs from Foreman server and also for Foreman proxy. And you can distinguish them by different hosts. And you can check them sorted the logs time-wise together, and you can see what happened on each side. So I'll show you how the import looks like. I have prepared YAM import from samples SOS report I have. You can choose host test case, and import ID will be 5. So that's done. And if we check in our Greylog server, yeah, if you start your own Greylog server, make sure that there is the input for Gelf running. We currently support UDP, and it usually runs on port 12201. And if you go to the search, we can check if the data were import. So we'll search in all messages, and we can put import ID 5. That's what we used in the server, and we can see that there is more than 300 messages imported, and we can see them in the log on the right side. You can customize the output quite a lot. Here are on the left side, there are names of the fields to be displayed. So for example, you can have in the logs the original line as it was in the log, but we also have the structured data parsed by our parser. So you can see that there is, for example, the log where the data originates from. There is also the name of the package parsed. So we have available, for example, the package name, which you can see, for example, here. We have also the version and release, or the full Nebra information. And also there is a program which produced this log, and there is a timestamp. So you can basically check that the timestamp matches the time from the original file. So the logs are imported with correct timestamps. Okay, so now we can, for example, check.
I'm gonna have to hurry you, Martin. We've only got a couple of minutes left tops.
Oh, okay. I'm almost done. So I'll show you that we can do some more complex searches. So, for example, I can do import ID 5 and package name. And I can see that on the machine that I was importing the logs from is just satellite capsule with some version installed, and I can see when that was done. So sometimes it's good to see on what days there were some upgrades done on the server, so we can take some information from that. I can show you also the import of the full SOS report, which now means the syslog and the YAM log together. and it's for ID 11 that I prepared before. There is more than 30,000 messages, and yeah, also we can do more complex searches. The Greylog provides some useful information. You can, for example, check up the various importers that we have here. It's not working for now. Okay, so yeah, you can do various searches. The language for Elasticsearch is quite complex, so you can filter data by various information. Yeah, to make it short, what are the plans now? I've just finished with that today, so I'll need to make the code public on GitHub, so that will be done today or tomorrow. And also will send a message to the Foreman dev with the details how to try this tool and how to contribute to that. The plans in development are to add more importers and to improve the logs, the importers of the syslog, which is the most challenging part. And also the plan is to check how this tool could be useful to the others and what we can do with that. And for example, there were some ideas that, well, the Greylog has the API that you can use to query the content. We could probably build some troubleshooting tool that will search the patterns there.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to have to cut in there because we've literally got 3 minutes left. So thanks very much, Martin. We don't have time for questions, but I'm sure this is going to be a topic we come back to, and we'll be looking out for that post on the dev list. So next, I was supposed to talk about my new plugin for catalog diffs. We don't have time for that now, so I'm going to move that to the next demo, which, to be honest, is no bad thing because it's really a bit hacky at the moment. So I'll clean it up a bit and we'll do it next time. I was also going to talk about the conferences, but we don't have time for that either. I will write a blog post about it, and you can find it on our blog. That's theforeman.org/blog, and I will put it there. But basically, the conferences were truly awesome, and we had a lot of good time and a lot of good chat, and there were pictures, and it was all good fun. So if you missed it, come next year. It was fantastic. Particularly the hack day again was a big success. A lot of good work done there on a variety of things. So look out for that update. I'll post it to the mailing list as well, and you can hear all about it. And we see the value now of moving the metrics to the end of the demo because we don't really even have time for that. I'm going to just pause very quickly on each page. So if you really care, you can pause the YouTube video and look at the numbers. But basically what we see is packages are back up by about 2,500. That slumped, but it was over Christmas, so nobody cares. Now we're back to our previous numbers. This is fine. On the metrics for plugins, nothing really changes apart from Ansible has jumped about 4 places up. So well done, Foreman Ansible. Everything else is roughly the same. Compute resources literally have not changed. Every single compute resource is exactly in the same relative position that it was before. Redmine is busy. Same amount of community work going on, roughly speaking, but overall a small increase in activity across the board. And GitHub, the same, pretty significant, about 10% increase in activity across the board there. But again, we've come out of Christmas and back into a good piece of work. So we expect to see that. So if you're interested in those metrics, come ping me. We can talk about it some more, or you can just pause the video and look at them in detail. That is us for today. Thank you very much for all of the presenters taking their time to come and show us their work. If you want to follow us, you know the right places. #theforeman, Foreman on YouTube, Foreman Project on Twitter. Pick us up on the mailing list or grab the calendar from the website. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care.